interviewing my grandpa. When were you born?
I was born October 26, 1946.
Where were you born?
I was born in Buffalo, New York.
What was your home like? What kind of home was it? Did you live in a house or an apartment? How many families lived in the house? How many people lived in the house?
When I grew up, I was living in a place of Buffalo called the Langfield Projects. My father was at the war, World War II, and I lived with my mother and my two older sisters. And it was a project that was like an apartment that was built for the Army people who were fighting World War II, and their families were back here. And we ended up living there until my father came back from World War II.
What chores did you do at home?
Well, my mother asked me to take out the garbage, and my mother asked me to make my bed, which I didn't do very good, but I made it. And then my mother asked me to wipe the dishes every once in a while.
What kind of school did you go to? How many grades were there? What grade did you finish?
I went to a Catholic school called Immaculate Heart of Mary in Buffalo from grade 1 through grade 3. Then when we moved to another part of Buffalo, and I went to another Catholic school called St. Joachim's from grade 4 through grade 8. And then when I left St. Joachim's, I went to a high school, public high school in Buffalo called Hutchinson Central Technical High School. And I spent 4 years there, and I learned electrical and electronics.
How did you get to school? What would the teacher do if you got in trouble for something?
In grade school, from grade 1 through grade 8, I walked from our house to the school because the school was in our neighborhood. In high school, I used to get on a public bus and travel from where we lived in Buffalo all the way into the city, and then a public bus back. And if I got in trouble at school, my father took care of business. He would make sure that I knew that's what I wasn't there for. I was there to learn, not to get in trouble.
What would the teacher do, though?
Pardon me?
If you got in trouble, what would the teacher
The
do?
teacher, in grade school, we had nuns, Catholic school, and you'd put your hands out like this, and they'd take rulers, and they'd hit your hands with the rulers. And you would remember, you don't do that again the next time. And in high school, they made you go to detention. That means you go to the principal's office, and the principal sent you to a classroom at the end of the school. After everybody else went home, you were still there for an hour, and you were learning and reading and leaving an hour later because you were in trouble. That was in high school.
And Evan, if you have other additional
You didn't
questions,
say
any additional questions, then you can ask Grandpa. Okay?
When did you go to school?
I went to school from 1950 all the way through until I